No? Oh,
Nobody.
No one can hear us? Can you hear us now? Let's see. All right, let's give it a few seconds. There's a few people online, so I think we try again. So welcome everyone. Episode number 52.
That's right. Hello again.
Hello again.
Yes.
So back from the studio. So we've done 2 weeks in a row again. Hopefully it's going to carry on.
Yep. Well, hopefully it should all get better from now.
Here you go. Matt was there. Hey, Matt.
Hello.
So, okay, so very good. So back for a full episode. Today we received so much stock.
So much good stock too. And really interesting stuff.
Lots of stuff that we haven't had for a long time due to all kind of worldwide delays and shortages of all kind.
Yes.
Some really exclusive RC cars.
Yes.
See if anyone can name them.
Yep.
This is something that it's not as exclusive, but was not be found for the last 3 or 4 months, I think.
That's right. That's one of the things we talked about during Christmas.
Yes.
Yes. Being one of the biggest sellers.
That's
right.
And
we eventually ran out and it's finally back.
Absolutely. So we went for a few people to jump online. So what we have here today, we're going to talk about some of the stuff up here.
Yep.
Some restocks, some plastic kits, some Gundams, some of the Hearns workshop. We got some really interesting train stuff that we spoke about last week.
Yep. And we got
this guy here. Can you see it? I think in show, yeah.
There he is.
We're going to talk about this guy. And what else?
Oh, we've got our standard car of the week.
Yes.
Yep. So standard car of the week. So what do we need from there? We need the make and model, the color, and the year.
Do you actually know the year?
I don't know. I'm hoping someone's going to tell me the
Okay,
year.
cool. That's good. I don't remember that.
Yes.
So that's cool. Okay, very good. All right. Well, so let's start guessing the car.
Yep.
There's quite a few. There's a few people online now, which is good, through different channels. So
don't think it's going to be that hard to guess.
Hopefully,
it's a pretty popular car.
Right.
In an interesting color.
Definitely is an interesting car. It's got some nice finishing too. Actually, I can see bonnet and the rear spoiler being different. So yeah, should be good. Should be good. So where do we start? I think we start from here.
Start with this one.
I think so.
I think everyone would know what that is, wouldn't they?
I think so. There is a video that you did on YouTube probably a year ago.
Yep.
That had quite a few views on how to actually keep this going.
That's right. It's one of the most popular videos we've got on YouTube. So it's a handy tip because with these particular Revell contactor glues, they've got the really fine needle.
Yes.
And quite a few people have come in to buy a new one because the old needle was all blocked up. But actually, with the needles, they're very easy to clean out just with a naked flame. So if you want to just clear that, because they're so fine, the glue can get dried up within here.
Yeah.
And it'll stop anything from coming out. So
that's right.
Just a lighter on the bottom here. It vaporizes the glue, comes out here as a bit of smoke and a little bit of flame, and it's ready to use again.
Ready to go again.
Yep.
And we sell these in the thousands actually here.
Yep.
So unfortunately, there was a delay in the resupply, and we haven't had it for a few months now, but it's back. So the famous Revell glue is back.
Yep.
So that's it. I think we should start talking about that big boy.
This big boy?
Yes.
Well, this big boy is actually built by Warwick. So this is a Gundam Terrain, is it, Mr. Warwick? It is a Terrain. Okay, so Tyran. Oh, it's a Tyran. All right.
Warwick is having lunch at the moment.
I'm getting corrected here. Now, Warwick loves building these types of mechs, but he's not a real fan of the super bright, glitzy, sort of clean colors. So Warwick's developed all these special techniques for making very weathered, quite often like a tank type finish, really concentrating on areas where it's going to be naturally worn. So you might be able to get some better views.
Yeah, it's got a top camera. So, all right, here we go.
Now, I've got a feeling that he might come down. I'll just support him here.
Lost the part.
Yep, there goes the shield. All right, you probably get a better idea from here and probably zoom in. If we zoom in really tight, you'll probably see. Yep.
Look at this. That's impressive.
Okay, so weathering is one of these things that it hasn't been talked about forever. It's one of these newer sort of concepts that a lot of people are trying to grasp, and it does take a lot of techniques to sort of understand how to get a particular finish. So Warwick's been working on these different techniques, particularly around lacquer type paints, for a long time. He was experimenting with acrylics as well. So the idea is a lot of this is actually naturally chipped. So there's a base color put on, so that would be this deepened metallic, and then a rust type finish, and then perhaps hairspray or something in between, which can be removed with the addition of water, and then your top coats go on. So once they go on, you start rubbing in certain spots, and it comes off naturally, and you see the underneath tones.
Impressive.
Yeah, and then for other scratches, you'll use a sharper instrument, sharpened tools, even sandpaper to rub it back, and it gives these sort of
realistic looking kind of
that's right. It's just the way it sort of chips off and peels off.
Scratches and all that really.
And I guess the other thing about this too, which is going to sort of move into another one of the new products we have, is he's used some of the Hearns workshop. Let's zoom this out because it's it's focused in. Okay, so you see these. Let's just move it across here. So these are the cable glands which we just produced from Hearns workshop. So those two with the wire across the back there. So just a little bit things like that add so much detail. And then across the front here as well, just these ones across the side, just underneath my finger. So they're the bolt heads that have been added. So without those, normally they'll just be totally smooth because of the molding process. But you add these, and just it adds another dimension.
Definitely.
Probably
maybe
maybe there.
See if we can
Get to focus on your finger. Oh yeah, that's it.
So you can see this 1, 2, 3, and 4 up here.
Yeah. So it really makes a difference when you see these bits used on the actual model, because when you see them raw in the resin, you can't see all the finer details. But once you pick it out with some paint,
that's right.
Let's see. Yeah, you can see these again that are on the head. So that's really, really well done.
Definitely.
It's done a really good job.
Right. So I think we spoke briefly about those last week. Some of these Hearns workshop kind of trays, build the detailing parts.
Yes.
I think I've got some here. Do we have them? Yes, they're here.
So they're the sort of nuts.
Now these are actually the
cable glands.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Got one of those trays. So we've got those in 2 sizes now. So this is the largest size.
So that's a full-size tray.
It's a full-size tray.
Yep.
And then we've got like a tray which is about 1/3 of the size, really.
Yeah.
And some of these trays have different components too. So we have a hydraulic set. It does have some of those and some keys and bends and all kind of different items.
Yep.
But that's a full set of the cable glands, which is one of the latest that Warwick designed in the last couple of weeks.
Yep. And they're easy to use too. So basically they're printed on a stalk. So you cut off the stalk so part of the stalk is still visible. And then you drill a hole that matches the same size as the stalk. And then on the other end, you'll make a little hole depending on the size of the wire or the tube you're going to pop in there. And then you just glue it all together with some super glue, paint it up, and you get the same finish that we just had a look at on Warwick's Gundam.
That's right. And we have these in 3 sizes from memory. So this is a bit smaller, probably impossible to see in camera, but
you can notice it there.
Size down. Let me see if you guys can see here. You can definitely see. Let me see if it focuses. Yeah. There we go. So you may be able to see that the top bit is a bit smaller.
Yeah.
So I think we have 3 or 4 sizes, and the list says extra small, medium, large on the website. And you can use them for different models, different scales.
Yeah.
If you do cars, I guess, could be nice for
sure.
engine details and all that.
And even with construction equipment, because you might notice that with some of those earth moving equipment, like what am I thinking of? Like a bulldozer type of thing.
That's right.
Quite often you'll see a whole array of cables hanging off one side of the arms.
Yeah.
You know, it won't be just one. It might be like 4 or 5 of them. And quite easily you can do it with this, because basically with 4 or 5, you'll be needing double that amount.
Absolutely.
To terminate each cable end.
Absolutely. So let me see what else we've got here. What's in here? These are the beans. So this is it for I didn't take the smaller trays, but this gives a good impression of what this detailing part. So if you jump on the website and you go into under Hearns Workshop and then you select detailing, there are now probably 30, and there's probably 5 or 6 more that Warwick just completed this morning.
Yes.
They'll be online soon of all these kind of really helpful accessories.
Yeah. So all the way from little rivet heads, screw heads, bolts, the hydraulic angles.
That's right.
And then
This
the
kind of
cable
stuff.
glands. Yep.
There's knobs and switches.
Yes, that's right. For cockpits and such.
I think we start making those in different scales now. So we have them in 24, 32nd, and 48 scale from memory. So there's a big selection of this stuff now.
Yes. Yes.
4 sizes actually. So Warwick is suggesting there's 4 sizes of the cable glands. So there's 4 different sizes. Thank you. And moving on, what else we have? I think we should talk about this one actually.
Sure. So we started working on the tools as well, which we talked about briefly. So what we've got is we've got a variety of, I guess you call them bits.
Yes.
So they're designed to go into the end of a pin vise. So these are actually 3mm, and they're just screwed together, and then the pin vise acts as your handle.
That's right.
And then there's different shaped heads. So we've got various, I guess you call them spatulas. So you use these for sculpting and controlling putty.
Yeah.
And then we've got these other ones here too. These are pointed ones. So again, for sculpting and
pop on the top camera. So
yeah,
probably see.
Maybe it's focused down here.
Yep.
Okay, so this is just a selection of 6. So different types of rounded type points. Some have been sharpened off with angles, and then others are flat. So you use these for even applying, I guess, rivet points.
Yes.
In soft material like a putty. And then also for controlling the putty in gaps as well. You can use it for scraping putty off.
Yep.
And then these are the other types. These are the flat type ones. Same sort of idea with different shaped heads. And then over here, which is quite interesting, we've got these spoon-shaped rivet stamping bits. So the end of it is shaped like a horseshoe. So when you press it into putty, it gives that rivet type look, which I've done on the sample here. So I've worked on this sample over the last week.
So this is actually really impressive. Let's see if we can zoom any closer actually.
Yeah, it'll make a big difference if we could get a bit closer.
Let's see if it's focus.
Is that its minimum focus already?
No, I think we should be able to get there. Let's see, maybe not.
I think it's probably gone a bit beyond.
Right, maybe this
Yeah, that should do it.
Here we go.
Okay, let me see if I can hold it a little bit at an angle. So basically, I've just got some scrap plastic card, which I just glued together, just to try different angles as well. So this is what you might look on, see on a tank or any sort of welded structure like armor. So I've got a panel here, which I've just put on the top here as well, and then a curved tube there. And I've applied the milliput just around the edges. So milliput you just mix like normal, roll it out in a really thin sausage. Laid it down, press it down with those flatter tools first, and then use the imprinting tool just to stamp it in. So basically just put a little bit of water across the top first. So that acted like a lubricant, so the putty didn't stick to the bit, and then we just made all the impressions. So yeah, and then painted it, and then do a little bit of dry brushing, and it's really impressive. So these look much better than the ones that would normally be on a molded tank.
Yes,
they're much crisper, and I mean it's quite a fashion at the moment to do your own welds. Yeah. Takes a bit of practice, but definitely with a tool like this, makes it a lot easier.
And there's a lot more flexibility because you can do patches like this one, right? Yes, which could be like a repair effectively done on the field. Right. So there's so much flexibility to add depth to your models.
That's right.
So so that's the Gizmo 2.0 we called.
Yep.
And so work suggested those are also fantastic for brushing down masking tape.
Yep.
Which is true. And I used some of those to put in decals on Gundams.
Oh,
so
yes.
we have our Gizmo tool set number 1.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is a bit probably bigger in size. And we use this. My daughter uses this to put in stickers and decals on Gundams, which is quite useful when you need to go into very small parts and get all the corners to sit in properly.
Yep.
That can become really useful. I guess the flat one mostly and the pointy one here.
Yes,
it can be quite useful.
Yeah. So you got a slightly different feel. So the other one's a bit more flexible. These ones are a bit stiffer. So I mean, you always want a bit of variation, so you can use it for different situations. So it opens up the scope for a bit more creativity.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And those are manufactured with a very specific material, which is very tough and resilient. So it's not the traditional resin that you find on casting, resin, or whatsoever. This is an engineered type material. So it's very, very strong.
Yep.
We're quite resilient. So
yeah, they're really exciting. Particularly since we've started getting green stuff forward as well, a lot more people have been using green stuff. And green stuff predominantly is used for remodeling bits and pieces.
Yes.
And then with that, you've got the sculpting tools.
Absolutely.
So you've got choices of silicon type sculpting tools now too for doing smooth surfaces. And then there's the traditional wire type ones that you used to use as a kid for doing clay. And then got the addition of these, which gives you extra scope again.
And now that we know that this kind of type of tools works, we can create lots of different shapes.
Yes.
This one is 1 millimeter from memory, isn't it? The smaller. So the width of the cap is the opening is 1 millimeter, so super tiny.
Yes.
And so we can create something really, really small. So we can go down probably less than that. So we are going to experiment to reduce that by maybe even half.
Yes.
Let's
that'll be good. I think
make it happen.
Yeah.
So lots of R&D happening here.
So it was good being able to actually try it and make sure that the product works really well.
Definitely.
It really helps make sure that our products work as we expect them to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
that was good.
Very good. So, okay. All right. We have one more of the Hearns workshop, but to present that, we're going to bring in this train station. This Alsatian locomotive there.
Yep.
Last week we spoke about some of these components here, and specifically we talked about the letterboxes.
Yes.
And now they're all here.
So they're actually ready for sale now. They've got
stock for sale, yeah.
Yep, got stock in the shop.
So let's go up a bit. So they come in 3 sets. Got 1, 2, actually 4 sets, for a matter of fact. So let's open this up. So we've got a single, the double that we saw last week.
Yep.
So the single come in a packet of 3, which is this one here. So that's your single one here. Put it down here. This.
All right. So this is your
single
plastic mailbox. So this is a mailbox you see on the street right now. There's
a
a double type one, which you'll normally see, red and yellow, because the yellow side would be the express post.
And then we got the one on a pole.
Yep. And so these are the ones, actually I drove past one of those. These are more suburban ones. So they're the smaller ones that you see around the streets.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so we have a packet with 3 of the single one, 2 of the double one, and 3 of the one on a pole.
Yep.
And then we have a set that can present it like so, and we'll have 2 of each.
Oh, so it's a mix set. Yeah, good idea.
So so depending if you have a larger layout, you may want a a bit of a town. You may have ability of spreading this around a bit.
Yep.
And so we produce this mix set. These are currently nature scale, but we have provision to make those in probably 1/24 scale. I think would be quite nice.
Yeah.
It'll be quite a bit bigger and probably sold as a single unit.
Yep.
But we'll have those eventually available as well.
No, I really like them.
And we presented last week the font, the Telstra old school Telstra.
That's a bit of a classic, isn't
Classic.
it? Yeah, you don't really see these anymore.
Box.
You get a little bit of the idea of the top section because they've turned them into Wi-Fi stations now.
Yes.
But these used to be absolutely everywhere.
That's right. So,
I'm pretty sure they're the phones that used to take the phone card. I don't know,
that's right.
Do you remember using a phone card?
Yeah. Yeah, true that. So, and that's a little bit as for Hearns Workshop. So,
and we're still working on stuff.
And there's a lot more stuff coming through in the near future. So let's pack these away. I can see Brett is almost ready to pop in. So tidying up these, and then we'll have Brett. Meanwhile, Matt has suggested that this could be a Holden Tirana.
Unfortunately not.
Unfortunately not.
No.
If he's not in Holden, what could it be?
Yeah.
So let's try again. So we have Tony online. So hi, Tony.
Hello.
All right. So almost clean here. Put this away. Okay. So I think we may be getting closer there. So Phil has a 1973 XA GT 351.
I think it's pretty close there.
There we go. But we won't reveal this. So, all right. Brett.
Hello.
Hello, you got lots of
Got
stuff.
a big thing there.
And how are we today?
Excellent. What is this thing?
How's everybody looking?
I'm looking pretty good. You're looking pretty good too.
Am I?
Yep.
I don't have my black t-shirt on.
Why not?
I don't know. It's cold.
It is
Oh,
cold.
it's just
Why
cold.
shouldn't I?
It
It's
is
bloody cold.
And we're
It's winter
freezing.
here in Melbourne. Did anybody know that or what?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
we're just trying to pretend it was summer.
That's right. Well,
What do you
this
got here?
big thing here, that is the new Hyper GT8.
Pretty impressive looking, isn't it?
It is very interesting. So that is BD Design's latest offering in 8 scale GT,
Yes.
nitro and electric. Yeah, electric's really taken off here in Australia,
Definitely.
over in Perth and New South Wales particularly. Gathering a bit of momentum here in Victoria, but yeah, slowly getting there. Anyway, I thought I'd take the opportunity to paint up the new Hyper. Yeah, and looks very, sounds silly, but very touring car, very 110 TC.
I agree.
Doesn't it?
Well, it's got
I
a very
agree.
different
So-
profile to the other body.
Well, it does indeed. And I've actually got the other body here, which is the 765. I'm just going to grab it.
There we go.
And we can compare some of the differences. Yeah. So obviously the GT, the S65, this one here is a lot more scale. There's a lot more sort of finishing touches and detail on the body, which is fantastic. And to be honest, it probably looks like it might be a little bit more robust with all the extra grills and lines and that sort of thing. Whereas this one here has really been designed and engineered, I think, in a wind tunnel.
That's right.
And designed to give you the maximum speed and
Performance.
minimum lap times.
It's got a much more forward bonnet, isn't it?
Yeah, much more forward bonnet, much more sort of vertical windscreen. It's really hard to see the profiles, maybe nose on.
That's right. This is also has the typical little fin at the front. That's typical of the BT design bodies.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
just
love
pop
putting
on
that on
the
there.
camera actually. You'll be able to see there is always this kind of nose, a little nose here
Yeah,
that we've seen on a few of the BT design touring car body shells.
yeah.
I'm not sure if it does have any purpose other than having a bit of a cosmetic kind of look, really. But
Well, it
definitely
might give it a little bit more, I guess, stiffness.
stiffness,
Yeah,
yeah.
stiffness across the front.
It definitely is for stiffness, yeah.
So, but they definitely do put a lot of work and detail into them. Yeah, don't look too closely at the stencil work. This was painted by myself. So
Yeah,
I
I'm,
actually think he's rather impressive.
I'm anything but a professional painter. It's not
Looks
my
pretty
favorite
good.
part to do on the job, but yes, I use the BD Design electronic circuit stencil on this, like I have done on some of my other bodies, and really like that effect. So I've sort of got a bit of a theme going on them. I've used a Tamiya translucent paint for the window tint, which is actually, doesn't really see it on camera, but it is translucent and see-through. And I've used a stencil, if you will, a non-slip draw liner to get that sort of carbon effect on the roof and onto the wing.
Really effective.
Yeah, but it's a great looking body. Looking forward to J-Spec sending us some more custom design stickers
Decals.
for it.
Like the decals at the front, but we run out towards the
Yeah,
rear.
we sort of run out towards the rear, and they'll put in very strategic places on the front to maybe cover up some dodgy painting.
Oh,
like
I can't believe that.
Come
So-
on.
Don't tell us it's dodgy under there.
but ready to hit the track and have some fun, and another fantastic body by BD Design there for
Absolutely.
sure. So that's what we were talking about there.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
and what else are we going to talk
I
about?
think you're going to talk about those.
Right.
Finally, just right today.
They finally just arrived today, didn't they? We'll crack these ones open. Now, these are much like any other of the very current series
On top camera now.
EXX 36 series tire, except these ones, you see, they've got pretty little numbers on them.
Now, for people that
Struggling.
don't know, these are the touring car tires they use at the moment, aren't they?
Yes.
They definitely are. They're faster. I was just speaking to one of them, one of our drivers up in Queensland earlier today, and he said that the difference between these tires and the next best tire was seriously 0.5, like half a second a lap.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, isn't it?
That
I
is
saw those
phenomenal
numbers.
in lap times. So, and he went on to secure the victory by almost a lap over second place. But these are readily available. They're not anything custom. They are the Sweep EXX 36 3PGX. Yeah, they do require, I've explained before, they do require ongoing gluing, maintenance and inspection to get the most out of them, because they are that soft that they do tear. But to keep on top of that is a small pain in the ultimate performance tire.
Absolutely.
And they definitely are the ultimate in performance tire at the moment. These ones here are numbered, and this is because we've got a lot of big sanctioned events coming up.
Correct.
Where these tires are indeed the tire of choice, in that they're allocated and sanctioned for the event. So they are the official tire of the event, and we number them to keep them easier for scrutineering.
Absolutely.
So if you get allocated 2 sets of tires for the event, then when you come to Saturday morning or Friday afternoon, they say, here's your 2 tires. Oh, that's just somebody for me. Here's your 2 sets of tires, and then I'll write down in a book or on the computer
what number
tires you've got, and then at the end of each day you'll have to hand them back in to make sure that you're not doing anything funky with them overnight. Then turn up for race the next day, and you get those 2 same sets of tires back, 2 or 3, whatever it may be. Yeah, so that's why we have them numbered, and they're numbered now for everybody along. So like I said, they can get them to practice with, to race with, and race control. I think this batch and the next few batches moving shipments moving forward will be like that. And the big event, I suppose, on the cards for the moment is Victorian on-road state titles being held at TFTR, and that will definitely be using these tires and these numbers. So they're available to get to practice on, to get your car set up and that sort of thing now in between. They will have single batch tires for those events, so they might not necessarily come from the same shipment. Because all those, we assure that they all come from the same process and the same manufacturing, or manufactured on the same day, so that there's no
consistency. There's very good consistency.
Yeah, absolutely. So nobody can say that this set of tires was worse than that set of tires, or so on and so forth. So they're all single batch release tires. So yeah, so that's a new thing. That's pretty exciting, and all we got to do is get out of lockdown and get on racing.
Hopefully in the next, well, actually, I think they can start practicing or even racing this weekend.
Yeah, well, there's some clubs that are having racing this weekend. We've got Bendigo on-road having a club day. I'm sure that there's others around as well, but at least the tracks are open to go and have a practice and stuff. So that is lovely.
So let's go back to what this car could be. So Phil suggested 1973 XA GT 351.
I think that's pretty good.
Sounds pretty close, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It was called something else, though.
I rely on you guys on this one. I don't have a box in front
a
of me.
little bit before my time.
What else was it called? Oh, we can't say, can we?
Well, I don't know that we can say.
I guess we let.
Have you popped the bonnet?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
no.
have a look in there. No, don't want to.
No, we'll do it later. We'll do it later. Yeah.
Because we're that close. Did we get the colour yet?
So
no, we haven't picked the colour yet.
So that's all we've got so far. So
and this colour here, I'm not sure if we've had it on before, but it's really hard to capture how actually beautiful that colour is.
Yeah, it is actually.
Just looks like, I don't know, like far away on the shelf, it just looks green or something, like dark. But when you come up to it quite close, it actually looks really nice. It looks very different.
It's metallic.
So, it's very metallic.
So let's see if anyone can guess the colour then.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Do you want me here for anything else, or I'm out?
I think we're done.
Done with me today. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Have a lovely weekend, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for leaving my car here. Very good. All right. So,
we're up
what's
to
next? Well, before we get on to talking to Tamiya, we have someone asking about the Tamiya car we got up here.
Yep.
We're going to have a run through some of these kits that we received.
Okay, so some of the new stuff that's turned up.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
So,
Well, how
got?
about
These are new.
This is new. Okay, so we've got a lot of restocks, but what I've got here is new. So absolutely new releases of Tamiya kits. Okay, so let's start with this one. So we've got the Sauber Mercedes C9.
Yep.
So this is a Sauber team before they started getting into F1, and then eventually turned into the Mercedes-Benz team.
Yep.
So they were very successful with, this is what I commonly call a Group C type car. Whether or not they called them Group C at that time, I just know them by that sort of shape. So a Le Mans style endurance car. And they were very successful during their time. So what they've done is this particular kit isn't brand new. They've re-released it, but they've got decals which have been reprinted by Cartograph in Italy.
Yep.
So they're really nice and thin. And then also they've added some photo etch parts to it. So they've been doing that with quite a few of the car kits, and that really enhances it. So a really nice kit before, they've just made it even better. Okay, so that's your C9. And then this one, for any of the military guys, so Tamiya were famous for having this little kit. And a lot of people would have seen this particular kit and craft rad in the movie Saving Private Ryan.
Right.
So they grabbed one of these at the end when there was that big battle. And so they used this and they called it the rabbit. So basically use this as a bait. They went out, drove out, got the Germans to say, hey, you got one of our things, and followed it in, and they made it drive down the main street.
Right.
So these are being used quite often in World War II. It's basically a miniature tank. Okay, so it looks like a bike, but the front wheel actually didn't do anything. So it just made you, it actually clicked a clutch to drive the left or the right.
Right.
Okay, so it just made it feel more natural. So these actually drive without the front wheel on, if necessary. But these particular things we use quite often. You could have two people sitting in the back, and then it's got the trailer as well. So what they've done is they've fully retooled this. It's all brand new.
Wow.
It's got individual style track links, so not fully individual, but some sort of segments. And then they've redone the same figures, but in a slightly different pose. So this box art resembles the original box art.
But it's a different kit.
That's right.
It's an upgraded.
It's an upgrade, a full upgrade. Yeah. So that's quite interesting. So they haven't been around for a long, long time. And it's good that they've released it because the other versions, there's a Dragon one, they were really nice, but very, very expensive. So that's nice. Very nice. Okay, so they're the two brand newies from Tamiya. Okay, apart from that, we've had restocks from... Actually, we've got the nice big Gundam, isn't it? Yeah, so there's a big Sazabi Vercar. I commonly call this the Wasabi, because I think it suits it better. But that's a really big, massive kit, really chunky suit. I haven't had these in a little while.
Very much so.
And apart from this, we've got the Psycho as well, which is the Zaku with all the bits hanging off it. Okay, so two very big kits. They're basically the same sort of size as a premium grade type kit, but they're master grades. So the actual size of the mech is smaller, but because it's got all this stuff hanging off it, it's huge. It's got a lot of bits. Yeah, and so hence the big boxes.
So we receive also a lot of Star Wars.
Yes, we've got a lot of Star Wars.
Huge restock. Huge restock, and quite a few other Gundams, obviously, and everything else. So.
Yeah. So they're the two that sort of grabbed our attention straight off, but there's a lot more in the science fiction area.
Absolutely.
And it's all full. It's chockers at the moment.
Really full.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's good.
Definitely. So, all right. So park this one again.
Yep. And then I guess, what else?
We're going to bring, actually, there's again, lots of restock on Tamiya. I think it was quite...
Yeah. So we've got a lot of cars back in. So again, not new, restocks. So this is a nice GD3. Part of the a selection of supercars from Tamiya. Really nice. Absolutely. They always go together very well. Yeah.
And as I was opening the boxes before, this came across. So this is the bridge, is a Dunlop bridge. It's a bit of a classic.
It is.
And today's shipment had a huge restock of Scholastic, which includes all the extension packs, truck, accessories of all kind. And I guess this is one of these things that we get maybe once or twice a year, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's right.
And so if you have a set that is kind of permanent, they'll make a very nice addition and make it look extremely real.
Yeah.
It's a footbridge, Dunlop footbridge.
Very classic.
So a bit of restock on Scholastic.
Yep.
A couple of more restocks I think is worth bringing up among many.
Oh, this is a real classic.
This is a classic.
So this is the Revell Visible V8. So basically it's is it quarter scale? It is quarter scale.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And it works with a crank system so that all the components inside, you'll see the crankshaft working,
moving,
pushing the pistons, the valves moving. So it gives a very educated look on how an actual engine works and how the V system works. Because they do have actually I haven't seen it in a long time. They did have a Turbo 4 as well.
That's right. But I don't think they've made that in a long time.
This is definitely very classic. Yeah.
So this is good. So that's the Revell. So also good restock of Revell, like the glue and this one. And then we have the London bus on the other side. That's on your side.
Yeah, that's very nice, isn't it?
It's good. That's a big kit, 24 scale again.
And heavy kit. So you can just imagine this with some Master Box figures.
That's true.
Just fill it all up and it'll look fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bit of a project. But again, a big kit just to do something.
It's a very classic London bus. I don't think they run these anymore. I think they're totally different shape now.
Right. Yeah. Very good.
All
right.
Okay, so what do we move to?
I think.
Oh, we should look at this.
We should look at this one actually. So that's just arrived yesterday, actually.
Yes. So this is the 9 steps Optrix 5 mag visors. So let's see here. So we've got some instructions that we made for it. So these are the mag visors that I use. I actually made a video on these before. We've actually enhanced it with added instructions. These are the ones here. Okay, so I wouldn't be able to do any of my phone work with one of these.
Absolutely.
So every time I paint, this is always out. So it's not one of those tools that I hide away in the toolbox. It's always on my workbench. And you probably don't appreciate them until you actually use them, actually how good they are. So they come with a whole range of optical clear lenses. There's 5 of them. I'll put on the strongest ones. So if you're doing super fine work, you basically just put it on like this. And then you got googly eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, and so when I'm focusing, it focuses up to here.
Wow.
Okay, and so basically it's making everything, I don't know, it's probably 3 times the size of what it would have been.
So these lenses are really high quality, actually. So they're not plastic or whatever. They're proper, good quality
optic lenses. Yep.
So I guess when you do this for a long period of time, you get fatigue on your eye, but this one should minimize that.
Yep, for sure.
I know you've been painting quite a lot in the last few weekends. I saw some of your work, and you must have been wearing this for several hours in a row.
I was. So the good thing about it is you've got these glasses type ears as well as a strap. So it depends what you prefer. Yep. I use a strap on mine. And it's also got a very strong LED light, which is in the front here, which is powered by 3 AAA batteries, which just load up in the back here. So the good thing about it is, I mean, I've used different types of mag visors. Most of the other ones, sometimes they have the lights on the sides.
Yeah.
They're always very yellow.
Yes.
This one's got a super bright, it's quite, it's a little bit warm, but it's not yellow warm. And then you've also got this adjustment here, so you can aim the light where you need it.
Right, wow.
And it's dead center, because the other ones, you can see brighter on the sides, and then it gets dimmer in the middle.
Shadows and all that.
But this one with 2 LEDs straight in the middle, it lights exactly where you're looking. So wherever you look everywhere, you've got the same illumination. And then when you're using them, so because you're not always looking through them, so you can just fold them up and you get them out of the way. Okay, you do what your stuff, and then you just fold them back, and then it's really easy. And then it's still on your head. So yeah, they're really good. So check out the video if you want to have a closer look at these. And I mean, these are the best ones I've come across so far.
Definitely. Yeah. We spent a bit of time researching those.
Yep.
And definitely it's a good product. And most of the quality of the lenses is probably what makes the biggest difference.
It does.
Sure that it doesn't ruin your eyes or whatsoever.
Yeah. Because the biggest difference is with the cheaper ones, they do magnify, but the thing is that they start to feather out.
Yeah.
So as you move you get distortion, and it starts giving you a headache. But these are really pure. So yeah, thoroughly recommended.
Good. All right. So now the exciting part.
Exciting part?
I guess so. I guess the part everyone is waiting for.
What do we look at first?
I don't know. So
should we do it?
3 Tamiyas to look at. So let's see if anyone wants to choose which one to look at.
Because we could do them chronological, right? So we could do the Egress, and then the Thunder Dragon, and then the Top Force, because they're the 3 different generations of four-wheel drive. Or we can just pick whatever. We'll go the other way.
Good point. I guess while let's see if anyone comments on see which one they want to have a look first.
Yeah.
There's obviously a question in relation to pre-orders. As this gentleman here suggests, he couldn't get his allocation from another store. So unfortunately, when we ordered those many months ago, our order were accepted as for every other shop.
Yes.
And so we allocated the orders. We accept orders based on what we thought we were going to get. But unfortunately, late last week, we were notified that we were only going to get 1.
It was only a very small.
Yes. So
incredibly small. I mean, when you're talking about 1 and multiples that we
so
pre-sold, it's quite disappointing, really.
Definitely.
But unfortunately, it's just the way it is. It's worldwide shortage. So we're trying to get some more.
So there'll be potentially so Tamiya is committed to produce more, and so they will come perhaps throughout the year.
Yes.
We don't know exactly yet, but they said that there should be eventually more coming.
Yep.
And we're trying to source more from overseas. They may turn up at some point next week. We'll see. But we'll see where we stand. So far, unfortunately, these are all allocated.
Yep.
And we've been very grateful of this lucky owners here that they let us keep them here for today so that we can show them to you guys.
Yep.
So there is a suggestion to start with Egress.
Egress. Okay, let's start with Egress. Egress is a bit of a classic.
It is indeed.
Yes.
All right. So
all right.
I'll grab it.
So Egress.
That's my Egress.
we've already talked about the Vanquish, which we still have them in the shop. So the Vanquish and Egress are part of the same Avanti family. The Egress is the top shelf, very best buggy that Tamiya produced at the time. So this was their very first car, which came with carbon fiber. Also, very first car that came with titanium screws.
Yes.
And I think it could have been also the first car to come with a ball differential.
Right.
Because the Avanti and the Vanquish come with gear differentials, or planetary style.
That's right. Yeah. So the gear diff, and then they had a ball slipper clutch type of thing. Yeah. So, okay. So, all right. Let's have a look.
Shall we crack it open? Just carefully bring it up here.
All right. You do that side.
Now, the Egress was a very, very expensive car when it first came out.
Here we go. So what I like is the box. It's got a phenomenal design. So it's virtually all here. So the exciting parts are all exposed.
Yes.
And sealed, actually, for a matter of fact. So you can't do very much. But you see from this side, you've got metal shocks.
Yes. So these are the first series of what they call the high cap shocks.
Yes.
And then, okay, so over here we can see the diff halves.
Yes.
And you can see how they're the ball type diff. So they'll take the thrust washers on the sides. You got the hardened steel shaft. I think your carbon fiber components.
That's the shock tower.
Yeah, so shock towers.
Shock tower.
And then you've got this aluminium press motor mount.
Yep.
So that's where the center gear shaft would go through.
Yep.
You've got these universal drives, which are actually CVA type ones. So they've been modernized.
Yep.
They used to be just standard square universals. Across on this side, you see carbon fiber, more carbon fiber.
That's a full chassis. So when if you looked at the BQS, which we've been building recently, that used to be a plastic tab.
Yes.
And now with this one is a full carbon chassis, really.
Yeah. So very similar to a modern type design.
Is it a post for the two different layer of the chassis?
Yep, as a double deck.
Deck.
The wheel hubs look like they've been upgraded as well.
Yes.
Because in the past, these would have just slid over splined drive shafts.
Yeah.
So these are the
pin
and clamp style.
Yeah.
So you can tighten them up. So very, very modern indeed. And then these are the upgraded hubs, which have been found on the re-releases of the Avanti and the VQS.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So really, really nice. And what I like here is you've got your body and the wheels are kind of installed on the body.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
And there's some really traditional wheels there.
Spikes, big spikes.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a couple of nice videos on YouTube. They've done quite a few views on people building and making some really fancy custom wheel on the Egress.
Yep.
Worth doing a quick search on YouTube. There's some really exciting builds actually.
Yep, for sure. Now I don't know if we're going to be able to see much more
I wouldn't touch it anymore
because I think these full boxes here with all the plastic parts, they're going to be sealed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we're being able to see this far, which is great already, and it's nice we can recognize all the bits that have been improved compared to the original release.
I think definitely the shocks are beautiful. The carbon chassis, what makes the difference, obviously.
Yes.
And and then you have all your it looks like it's coming with bearings as well.
Yeah.
Bearings.
Yeah, so full ball bearings in this particular car. Yeah. You didn't have to get any extras at all.
And
you got the one way there as well.
The one way, yeah.
Yep. And then over here you can see the ball diffs there.
Yes. I can see Rob is just joining us on time to talk about Tamiya and vintage cars. So welcome, Rob.
Very good. So that's the Egress. So
Egress.
So this particular one, they've kept it, so you still have to cut it out and paint it.
Yes.
Some of the other re-releases have actually started doing pre-colored and pre-painted bodies.
That's right.
So it's nice. Kept it very original.
Very much so.
With enhancements.
I think last time we had this in the shop was in 2014.
Right.
Because I remember I was reasonably new in here and we had an Egress in here. So,
very classic.
Very much so.
Yeah. I love the rear suspension. Always love the rear suspension on this because it had the feeling of, I guess, it had a semi-trailing arm.
Yes.
So it was like it wasn't a 5-link, but it was like a 3-link type.
Definitely. And
I found it fascinating because, with compression, it actually changed the toe.
That's right. It's a very interesting build, actually. As I said, we've been building the VQS recently, and there's some very interesting solutions. I really like the diffs. They're actually quite complex as such.
Yes. Yes.
And the way the sway bar system works at the front and at the rear,
Yes.
inserting into the arms directly. It's definitely an interesting build.
They actually thought out of the box for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So very good.
Excellent.
All right. So this is the
there's our
Egress. So next, then we're gonna go to the Thunder Dragon. What do you think?
Yeah, why not?
Chronological, then.
Sure.
All right.
All right, so I'll give you that.
I'll pop that one up here.
All right, let's go Thunder Dragon. All right, there's a Thunder Dragon. So Thunder Dragon is basically the four-wheel drive series that came after the Hotshot.
Yeah.
And so this particular series of car, so there was the Thunder Dragon, Thundershot,
Thanks.
what are the others? There would have been about 5 in the series.
Yeah.
I can't remember the rest, but yeah. There's a red one as well. What's the red one? Fire Dragon.
Fire Dragon.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We had them recently, I think.
Yes. So the idea was they designed these chassis to be tougher than the Hotshot.
Right.
Because the Hotshot was the first of the four-wheel drive cars,
Yeah.
which was iconic, but it did have some of the weak spots.
Weakness.
Yeah. So it just had an open monocoque chassis rather than the fully sealed two-part of the Hotshot. And also they beefed up the diffs and the front end a bit because the front bumper used to be a bit weak.
Yeah.
One point used to always come off.
Right.
So here we go. So we've got the Thunder Dragon.
Let's pop this on the top camera. Here we go.
All right.
So smaller box for a start.
Yes.
So this actually says 2021, so definitely clear in setting the release date.
Yes. All
Very
right, there we
traditional
go.
boxing. And I guess the first thing to notice is that the body is actually pre-painted in this case on a metallic silver, am I wrong?
Yes.
Metallic
yeah, that's
silver,
silver.
actually.
So just pick that up here. See there, it's got that really angular shape to it, which is very different to the other cars, which are much rounder. Okay, so there's your body. All right, so this is where, because the Hotshot range, they used to be very much like the Egress. Okay, so actually, I think I got it mixed up. Probably the Avanti came after the Hotshot, then it came with this. I'm getting all mixed up now. But either way, it's sort of in between. So this is where they started simplifying the boxes of the cars. So they didn't have all that arrangement, that pretty arrangement that we saw in the Egress. So they started laying all the bits and pieces out. So over here, you've got your suspension arms.
In blue, I like this blue actually.
Yes. Yes. And then on the bottom there, you get your radio tray and your
Yes.
shock towers. Over here, you got the big bumper. Okay, so rather than having that single screw in the center where the Hotshot bumper used to be, it's got twin here and two at the back.
Yeah.
So nice and flexible. And you got your gearboxes. So the gearbox design was very similar to the Hotshot.
Yeah.
Fit together a similar sort of way, but it did use bigger gears and bigger covers. All right, then you got the hubs. So you got your wheel adapters, C hubs, and your rear hubs there. And we get into, there's that new style chassis. Okay, so that's the open tub type design. And you've got the curve here to accept racing packs. So you need to pay attention to that, because if you want to use lipos, you'll only be able to use the
round
lipos.
ones.
Yep. They've got that shape. Unless, of course, you want to build that out, which isn't impossible, but you'll start chopping away, chopping
dremeling and cutting.
Yes, right. Yeah, so everything just fell into there, so that when you took the body off, you had access to absolutely everything.
Yes.
Then over here, we've got one of their classic speed controllers.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a speed controller that can take the brush motor that comes with it, or can also go to brushless. I've got the wheels here. So you've got black wheels, 3-spoke type
I like
design.
those wheels.
They're a solid 3-spoke.
Yeah, classic.
Very cool. So same width,
Front
front and
rear.
back.
Yeah. You got your driver here actually.
The driver?
There
Oh
you go.
yeah, there's
That's
the
him.
internal driver. So that acts like a dust cover. Bit hard to see, but you'll paint that all up. And it just sits over the top. We've got the tyres. Right, so you get you some pin spike tyres.
4 of the same size again.
Yeah. So they're like a rear size tyre, front and back. Okay, and then from there we've got our box of bits, which we'll leave as is because that's all sealed up. So you
Yes,
have all your
definitely.
screws, all your gears.
Yeah, the oil for the shocks and all
Yes.
that kind of stuff.
Yes, that's right. So there we go. That's our
quick unboxing of
The Thunder Dragon.
Dragon. And here.
Yeah. I'll put those back there.
Uh,
That one goes, yeah.
yep.
Yep. All right. Very nice.
And the body goes in.
That's it.
Here we go.
Let's sit in there. All right. Thunder Dragon.
Here we go. So, next one. Whoa, pop that one up there, and we bring this one down here. So before we get on to this, I guess we should remind on the car, this guy here. So Rob suggesting that he had an XY of the same color, which is jewel green.
Yes, it is dual green.
And I
Very
think
good.
that's it, really.
That's it. So it's an XA.
1973
Yes.
GT and 351. I'm not sure about the 351, but it is actually 351. It says on it.
Yep.
So that's it. So well
Very
done,
good.
everyone. So it looks like we got a car.
Good job.
Well done.
I
So
thought that was. I thought the car was going to be easier. I thought the color was going to be hard. But yeah,
a row up on
Good
the
stuff.
one, so it was easy to guess that one. Well done.
excellent.
So
Top Force Evolution.
is this the most exciting one?
It is.
It is.
So 2021 release.
Yep.
So it's never been re-released before. One of my most favorite cars, because when I was into this as a kid, this was one of my want-to-haves.
Yes.
But way out of the price range. Because I think from memory back then it was like $800.
Wow.
So it was big bucks. So again, it's their top shelf car,
Yep.
designed specifically for competition. So the Egress was meant to be a competition car, but it didn't quite match up to the standards of the Kyoshos. And then, I mean, it's great with Tamiya because they always wanted to do better and better. And so this was their next release.
Yeah.
And the Top Force Evolution was actually very competitive.
Yes.
So it was raced around Australia. Louis Solar
Yep.
raced one very successfully for a while. And the great thing about it is this particular car is still based on a quite standard four-wheel drive chassis.
That's it.
So it went with the philosophy is a bit like Group B Rally. So
Yep.
you had to start off with a basic car that was on the road.
Yep.
You modify the crapper out of it,
Yep.
and then make a real race car. And that's what they did.
Right.
So this was based on the Manta Ray,
Yep.
which is quite a common car. And then using the same basic gearbox designs and chassis design, they've actually produced a full-on race car.
And here is actually the layout.
Yes. Okay, so they use the same sort of arms. So there's the two-piece suspension arms, which are screwed together, but it's been fully enhanced with the high-cap shocks, which are like the Avanti style, the aluminium body shocks, carbon fiber, and titanium screws as well.
Definitely.
So let's have a look
Cool.
and see what they've done with this one to see how they've made this.
So the
for
box again clear saying 2021.
the box is quite a bit different. From memory, the original car was called the Top Force Evolution. So they've shortened it to call it an Evo.
Ooh.
Now, the Top Force was really nice too. So
Yes.
the Top Force is actually the green version, but the Top Force didn't have the carbon fiber chassis. It had a fiberglass chassis.
Right.
And so this was absolutely next level. So hence the Evo part of it.
So for again, the body's
So,
dark.
so the body's actually pre-cut
Oh, here we go.
and pre-painted on
Gun
this
metal,
version.
really.
Yes.
So that's a gun metal. And there is also
There's the under tray.
under tray.
Yep. So under
Plastic tab
tray
here.
keeps all the dirt out.
Yeah.
And fully seals up with the body.
Absolutely. So let's pop this back in here carefully.
And then we've got the racing wheels and tires. So these actually, I think they should be 2.2s.
Yes.
So standard sort of wheels were 2-inch. 2.2s became the low profile version for racing. And so this was up to spec at that time as well. So you got wider tires for the rear and the narrow ones for the front, which is pretty much the same for the size
pretty much,
as they are now.
As we talked about tires, yeah, the orange, bright orange
They're cool.
wheels. This is
The
cool.
orange and the gunmetal have such a great contrast.
Yes.
They just stand out.
Yes. So the wheels.
Has anyone made hot orange wheels like this since?
Yeah, sure.
Kyosho has?
Kyosho has only 1.8 buggies. They had the wings.
Oh, yeah.
They had the full range of fluoro yellow, fluoro
Yes.
green, and
Yes.
fluoro orange for
Yes.
key parts of the car. So there was the pillows for the suspension
Yep.
inserts, few plastic parts, the wings, and a few plastic parts really. That was
Bit
really
of
cool.
bit of bling factor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Now it's black and gold. A few years ago was fluoro orange.
Yep.
So here we got a gearbox.
Okay, so you got the gearbox mounts here. So this is the rear gearbox. So here you've got the plastic motor mount. I'm
Yep.
pretty sure this would have had the aluminium motor mount in it as standard. So it's identical, but it's been built out of aluminium. And then you've got the covers.
Yes.
And then you've got the old shock tower, which
tower.
you won't be using in this
Yep.
one because you'll be using all the carbon fiber
Carbon
bits.
So that's the other gearbox.
Yep,
That's
so you got the front
that's
end.
Better.
Yep.
Front. That's the, I guess, the front
Yeah, that's
suspension mount.
Yep, so that's a front kick plate.
Other shock tower. That's a plastic version.
Yep, so you won't be using that.
I got some servo. Oh no.
Yes, so you've got the
Servo horn there.
the slaves for the
Yep.
steering.
What's next here? The suspension arms.
Yep, so they're the suspension arms. They're the standard suspension arms which are on the manta ray. So they're in halves. They're just screwed together with 2 screws.
Yep.
And they're quite flexible.
Yeah, they feel quite flexy. So that's the pack with shocks.
Yep.
And hubs. So actually that's the front bumper here.
Yep.
Got your steering knuckles.
Yep. Interesting thing is, if you look at these carefully, these are actually the ones from the Hotshot.
Right.
So these are actually a Hotshot 2 version. So they
Yep.
upgraded them because they made this part a little bit thicker
Yep.
because they used to pull through. But this is actually Hotshot replacement uprights.
You got all your gears here.
Yep.
They look quite similar to what some of the previous cars we saw today have.
Yes. The advantage they had with these though is they had really broad, so they could transmit a lot of
Quite a lot
power.
of power.
Yep.
And then some shock bits here. So spring retainers and
Yes.
other parts.
Yep.
Speed controller.
Speed controller.
Insane.
Interesting, they got a speed controller because the original one never came with a speed controller, and it never came with a motor. So I don't know if this.
They should come with motor and speed controllers. I think all of these cars do come with it now. Does it have a little sticker at the front? Yeah, I think so. So electronics included.
It'd be interesting if they include a motor because they never included. Oh yeah, it does. Type 540 motor. So
Yeah.
they've included the standard motor with these now.
And what do we have here?
Because in the day we used to fit reedy modifiers to these.
Right, go fast.
Yes.
And
Okay, so you got these are the plastic sort of components. So you may use this part. So this is for your different camber links from the
Yeah.
top. You get your battery retainers.
more suspension holders, I think. Yeah, you got the rear suspension holder
Yep.
bit, I think.
Yep.
There we go.
That's probably the additional part for using on the
Yes.
the flat chassis plates. And then again, we're going to have a box full of bits here, which will be sealed up, so we'll leave that alone.
All right.
It's really nice seeing this particular car again. I really love the body, how it's so flat.
I think so too. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So
It really looked purposeful, very functional.
definitely. So
Excellent.
and so this was the unboxing of the top fours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Top 4 Evolution.
Evolution,
Very nice.
actually, yes. Re-release. Here we go.
So yes, so you're lucky to be able to have a look at these.
Definitely.
Unfortunately, that's it.
Now left.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but we are hopeful that there will be more stuff coming towards the second part of the year. Again, we can't guarantee that, and we don't know how many, but we are trying our best to get as many as we can. Very good. All right. So we're almost towards the end of today's show. So let's see if anyone has any more questions for today. We can run around the shop and pick up few things.
Yep. Anything at all? Any questions?
Um,
Should we have a close look at the?
I think we
The
should have a
beast?
close look at this. Meanwhile, so let's put it in the middle here. So Phil was asking if this is a British racing green.
It was actually known as jewel green.
Here we go. Let's get this to focus up.
Yep.
So first thing that appears to me is the bonnet being kind of a semi-matte finish, and same as for the rear spoiler.
Yep.
That is actually quite nice.
I'm not sure why they did that. I guess with aircraft, that used to be an anti-glare,
Yes.
so you wouldn't get the sun shining in.
Yes.
Whether or not they did that on cars as well, I'm not too sure, but it gives that impression, and it gives it that little bit of a pro look to it.
Definitely. So One thing is quite nice with these cars are the fact that their engines are fully detailed, actually, to a really good extent, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So probably hard to say it, but you can see that.
Yeah, to the point where they've got all the leads and
That's
all the
right.
plumbing in there as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quite often these models will only have the main blocky parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a classic collectible, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So this is the 18 scale diecast from Classic Collectibles.
So it'll be one of their higher range cars with all the opening panels.
Yes.
And hence they put a bit more effort in doing all the extra details like the engine bay. And then you've got the boot that's going to open up and the doors as well.
So, but anomaly, actually, even on the back, yes, probably difficult to see. There's some plumbing in here. That'd be for the fuel tank. There's a fuel tank pipe.
Yes.
Yep. See it. So really, really well finished. So let's pop this back in here. That's your rear end here.
And it's quite impressive that they got the 4 doors to be openable, because in the early days of producing diecast, you never really saw anything with 4 doors opening. It generally was only the front doors.
Let's see if we can even. One.
Yep.
Front.
There we go.
And here are your rears. And
because I'm sure the engineering is quite difficult to get all 4 to open.
Definitely. And you can see all the seat belts actually inside.
Hmm.
Let's see if we can. Probably not.
Yeah. Just unfortunately, there's a bit of a dark interior.
Black interior. So beautiful model actually.
Very nice. Even the chrome trims just got around the edges.
Really well made.
And the wheels. Very nice.
And I guess the undercarriage as well. Let's turn it upside down, because we tend to miss this part, but it's actually once again really well detailed. There's some real effort put into this one to get the exhaust system, the 4 pipes going into one, going under and over and all the way to the back. Yep. Spring system.
Yep. Tires are very well detailed too.
Tires were well detailed, definitely. So
there's some of their premium range, and they've done a really good job. Definitely.
Very good. And here it is.
Okay, do we have any other questions? So, yeah, very happy to answer anything, really.
Rob is suggesting to not get your wife to dust those off because she will break the wipers.
Oh, really?
They are really well made, actually. They kind of...
That sounds like it's come from experience.
Yeah, it looks like maybe Rob's collection doesn't have window wipers anymore. But they're definitely well cleaned.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Very good. All right, so let's see if there is any more questions here. Once we're going to go towards the weekend, let's bring these guys forward again. So that's Warwick's work again.
What have I done wrong here?
Oh, is he coming off?
He's moving around a bit.
Moving around. He's a bit excited. Still young.
Here we go. How's that?
So let's put this one here. Anyway, so just to recap, so we received quite a lot of stock from today. So I guess the shop is back to where it was stock-wise before COVID, I would say, almost.
Yeah, I
very
think so.
close to. As you know, there was a bit of a shortage, or a huge shortage in paints and kits and everything. And this week, props, we recovered really Tamiya stock, Airfix, basically.
A lot of paint.
All the accessories. When you talk about tools, there's a huge variety of tools. And there's a lot more coming. So supply seems to be quite solid. So
just unfortunately with some of these. So some of the limited re-releases have become even more limited.
Correct.
So we just got to watch out for that.
So, some of the product made in for example India or Japan, so that they had quite a few lockdowns. So obviously the factories had to slow down and not much that could be made really.
Well, I guess it's like the Bandai Star Wars.
Correct.
That was actually due for last Christmas,
That's
and
right.
it's just turned up now. So that's already a 6-month
delay.
Absolutely,
yes. So we have a question for Rob. He's asking about the Turbo Optima, which I think we actually received 1 or 2 last couple of weeks ago.
Last time,
but I think they've gone.
I
believe we'll have to have a look actually, but I don't think they're there. We've got a couple of Ultima and a couple of normal Optimas from memory, but we may be able to source one. So if you do want one, just let us know and we can have a look.
Turbo Optima is cool. I mean, I didn't really notice when they first came out,
Yeah.
But they look very similar to an original Optima, but the body is actually much lower. They've actually
Right.
redesigned the bodywork. Looks good.
It's turbo.
It's turbo.
Yeah.
Right.
Very good. All right. So, any more questions? Let's give it a minute for question time. Then I guess we're going to go for the weekend.
Sure.
Almost.
Yep. Put on a jacket because I'm freezing.
Yes.
Mm.
We still haven't made jumpers. By the time we'll have jumpers here, it will be summer, so we don't need them anymore.
That's right. Yep.
All right, then. So, everyone,
Okay.
thank you for joining us once again.
That's right.
So, episode number 52
52.
done.
Yep.
So
So
we've done-
that's a year, but it's actually been longer
Year and
than
a
a
half.
year with all the ones we did at home.
So, we've done 14 or so from home and 52 here. So, we've done every week since pretty much March last year.
Yep.
Starting from the front counter,
Yes. It's been an evolution.
and there's been an evolution.
Yep.
And we're still freezing.
That's right. That's
We
right.
were warm at some point.
Yes.
All right, then.
But we're filming more than we ever did. So
Yeah.
if you go onto YouTube, we've got a lot more videos there.
Yes.
So video every day, a lot more tutorials coming out, and let us know what you'd like to see, because I'm not too sure that there's some simple things that I think are really basic.
That's right.
Maybe you'll like to know more about them. So I'll be quite happy to show you whatever you like to learn about.
We've been thinking of doing some mini series on some specific topics. Just those that rather than do a very long video, we can do some short ones and be more in depth into specific areas. So let us know what you think you'd like to see, and we'll be more than happy to prepare some videos.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
And also Tony's request for doing how to paint
yes,
a wooden propeller. So we'll do that one too.
good, excellent. Work in progress.
Yep.
All right, everyone. So have a good weekend. Have a good weekend, Rob, and everyone else who was watching us today.
That's right. Wherever around the world you are.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And catch you next Friday, same place, 2 p.m.
That's right.
Melbourne time, actually, Australia, Melbourne time. And let us know throughout the week if you have any wishes. We can try to make it happen during the next live.
For sure.
All right, everyone.
All right.
Thank you for
See you
watching.
later.
Bye-bye.
Take care.